Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We're very excited to have you. We are even more excited to have a fantastic guest on today. We're going to have lots of really fun things to talk about. We have got some more religion streams coming up, so we're excited to get them rolling again as the nicer weather comes around. Everybody can get back to skating. Let me bring up the cameras here. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, please go ahead and start dropping them in the chat and start that with question. We'll be able to weed those out of the chat quicker. But today we've got an incredible guest, somebody with a lot of accolades, somebody that's actually running a skate shop in New York. We've got Arnav Sonic Skates Shah today. Thank you for being here, Arnav.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about you. I've seen your media a lot, but you strike me as an incredibly versatile skater. And we were talking a little bit before the stream, and it seems like you've got a lot of things kind of cooking. So I'm excited to get chatting with you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh man,
How you doing,
so
Meta?
excited for this. You guys have no idea. Like,
I know, dude.
I think we're talking to probably one of the most underrated persons in the whole community.
Oh, thanks.
Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
dude.
yeah, your roster is insane to me. You know, I don't think it's achievable. I think you're insane.
You proved you wrong, man.
I just really like to skate, so I think that
Oh, I get it.
Love it.
Thanks for being here, bro.
oh, for sure.
Good stuff. Well, why don't we dive right into it, Arnav? How did you get into skating?
Oh my God, I started. I grew up here in New York City in Queens, and a couple of my friends. I was like 10 years old. We were playing sidewalk hockey, and one of my buddies, one of the guys in the group, or two of them, got skates, and basically busted their ass every 10 seconds. And of course, 10-year-old me is like, wow, I want to bust my ass every 10 seconds.
I want to do that.
Yeah, so I got skates later that year. It's just 97. Skating was huge. It was a big thing. So that kind of got me started. It was playing sidewalk hockey and street hockey, and then I figured out, I was like, hey, this is a good way to get around the neighborhood and just be like, not intentionally, but I guess I was a little bit of a menace. Me and my friends go around on sidewalks.
Who wasn't?
And we discovered, I think one of the things where it was like, oh, how'd you get started in aggressive skating? And it's like, actually what I started doing was going down the park slides, those metal slides. My buddy and I would just start skating down those things and just launch ourselves off. And it was terrifying.
All right, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's kind of the roots of it.
That kind of explains some of the skating that you do now, how fast you go and
I've
stuff.
never thought about it, but yeah.
I kind of started to like adopt this theory the more I get to know people, especially through these podcasts, is I feel like you can really get to know somebody skating just learning how they started and the things they like to tell you, the things they remember the most about when they started skating. And I feel like that tracks. You're just skating down slides. You're going to go pretty quick. You're going to be doing dangerous things. You have to have good balance. So I guess it makes sense.
Right, just be a little insane too, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. I feel like that's just kind of a base level. You kind of got to have a good, consistent stat of insanity, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it should be no surprise that I'm so interested, and so many of us are so interested in talking about mental health in our community. We all have to admit we're a little bit crazy to just be in it. So like, and then you take it to the levels that you take it, like all this skating next to bicycles for hundreds and hundreds of miles. Like, honestly, it's like a whole different level.
Yeah. But I feel like you're almost like a little crazy to not do something like this. I'm like, oh, what do I find joy in life, right? What brings me sanity? I guess insanity, right? What makes me feel sane, right? This is normal to me, right? Like for me, it's like, oh, I want to go, I need to go around my neighborhood. I'm like, well, I don't want to walk around or be in a car or something like that. I just want to put wheels on my feet. I'll get from point A to point B really quick, right? Or like, where do I find people who have good vibes? And it's like skaters. We have good vibes. Yeah. Where do I find people who uplift each other? Oh, skating, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I guess maybe you get a little addicted, right? And then it's like, well, can I go a little further, right? sometimes mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself as soon as you got into skating doing what you're doing now?
Oh, of course not, right? I mean, we were just kids and just like tooling around and stuff. And even years later, I didn't even see myself. And then even there's so many phases. Every time I like the next phase I do is like, man, I could not have predicted this. But everything builds, right? If you have the right people around you, the right resources, it takes you a long way.
Yeah, true. But also, like, it's like a relationship, right? Like, you invest in it, you nurture it, and to fall in love again, you need to do a little bit something different, something that takes you to a
Yeah,
different edge, learn a different aspect out of it. Like, it's
yeah,
true.
for sure.
It's true. So when it comes to blading, since you do everything, man, like, what do you like to talk about it? Like,
Oh,
what gets you excited the most?
well, what gets me excited is just, I've been skating for 28 years now, and I keep finding more ways to have fun with it. I think we're clicking on, yeah. And then you
Dude,
get a
this
little,
is my favorite thing. I think
haven't
this is
seen
the reason
this.
why we wanted. I selfishly wanted you in the podcast.
I haven't seen this. This is great.
so I got my first pair of quad skates less than 2 years ago, and it was specifically for skate park. So I have a skate park quad setup. And so I've been enjoying that. I did a bit of, I did some aggressive inline when I was a teenager. I got back into it a few years ago. And I felt like, I was getting kind of stuck with it. You need to really pick the right setup. And I don't think I did that right off the bat. I went with something a little complicated. And then I was like, I saw some, quad skaters at the Substance skate park over here. I remember it was Sylvia specifically. I really liked the way she skated. Just all winter. She'd be there a lot of nights of the week.
Shout out.
Yeah, and she just had such a big smile on her face all the time, but her flow really struck me. So I'm like, well, maybe I've been thinking about picking up some quads at some point. So I did that, had such a good time with it, and then just been playing with quads. The silliness here, if you looked at it closely, I'm wearing one quad and one inline. There's a whole nother story behind that. I'm not going to get into it yet, but I'm not the first person. I might be one of the earlier people to do that in a park, but I'm not the first person to mess around with that. Some of the folks I work with at Skate Instructors Association, like Trish and Erica, who are some of the examiners who train the instructors, they've been messing with that already for years, just
That's
like for
awesome.
demonstration and stuff.
It's so fun, dude. Like, the first time I saw you doing that, I was like, we need to talk about this, man. I'm serious.
Yeah. All right. So actually, here's the story. This was at Blading Cup. So long story short, I went to Montreal Cup last fall. I had a great time. I enjoyed myself. It was a great experience. I did get on won second place, which was really cool.
Sick.
Wow.
And then, I'm hanging out at Wednesday Night Skate like a few weeks later. And I'm chatting with John Ortiz, another shout out, John Ortiz. And he's like, yo, come out to Blading Cup. And I'm like, if I go, I want to compete it too. I want to, get up on the ramps and stuff. And he's like, well, do it. I'm like, well, there's no quad division anymore. He's like, well, you could just show up on your quads. And John, I'm like, is this going to be a problem? And these are John's words. He's like, I'm the head judge. His words, he's like, if someone gives you shit about it, tell him John said, fuck you. I'm like, nah, it'd still be kind of weird to show up on quads at a blading event. But let's get even weirder. Why not that? So
Right, why not? Might as well.
It still counts as blading, right? If I have one.
Yeah, it counts.
Yeah.
We're just having fun.
Now people think I was insane for doing this, but to me this makes sense. People are like, oh, aren't you going to get mixed up and stuff? I'm like, no, skating is skating, right? Like, I'll figure it out. And to me, this made logical sense because a lot of blading tricks are one-sided anyway, right? Most of us,
For me,
unless you're talking about Augusto, right? Augusto Castillo, another shout out. He doesn't have a switch side, right? Even sometimes he's like, oh, which one's my switch, right? So, he's an exception, right?
It's smooth this way, smooth that way,
Right.
smooth all the way.
Right. So in a sense, we're sided. So the competition, I was very specific. The quad skate was on my left foot, which is my dominant foot on quads, and the inline was my right foot, which was my dominant foot on inline. So my sole foot is my right foot, and then my top side foot on quads is my left foot. So that meant I could do a lot of the tricks I already knew. And for the Blading Cup course, it made sense. The quad skate gave me extra stability. The inline skate gave me more speed and shock absorption.
Crazy.
So I used it to my advantage. And I messed around with the course on just my quads. I could not move around on it. So So you'd be a little, people think I was insane, but I could not have skated any better over there. And, I had a fun time. It was a really good course.
That's what matters.
The vibes were good. That was my first blading cup. Oh man, I almost ate it there, didn't I? There's some really, really fun stuff over there. So, community makes it all work. People are like really accepting, right? I was like, is this going to be cool with people? Don't see that, but we call that trick the Mach 50. Sam Leviton, another shout out.
Oh, I love that.
Hey. On one foot and a 50-50 on the other.
That's cool. I love that.
Mach 50,
I love
it.
Yeah.
That seems so fun.
Yeah, and like we said, I've been skating a long time. I've just, like I said, I've done so many disciplines: urban, slalom, speed skating, ultra distance, wizard, skate park. But the quad skates are new to me, so I'm starting to play with them more. So
cool.
The camp I was just at, I had my quads on for quite a lot of it. Like they had a bunch of roller skater instructors there teaching like dance classes, flow classes, all this sort of stuff. So it was really cool. So my park setup wasn't ideal for it. It's the quad skates, they got wide tracks. This is very cool. Some of our local crew, there's a lot of quad skaters in New York, they're just ripping, having a good time, and good energy over there. And like it's just crazy because there's just so many communities, like not just one community, right? We have our bladers, we have our bladies, we have our quad skaters, we have everyone showing up on Wednesday night skate now. That's kind of turned into the big hub. So really,
Sweet.
really great stuff all around.
So exciting.
Awesome.
So exciting. So what sparked Kinetic Expression, man?
So Kinetic Expression, the skate shop, right?
Yeah.
So
tell us, like you own a skate shop in Queens, man.
So obviously, growing up in New York, we had blades, we had even Models carried skates. I bought skates from Models. We had blades. We had Paragon used to have stuff, and basically, New York didn't have any extra light there. Thank you. This is a share post. Sometimes skating cannot not be political, because sometimes for us to be out there, we have to. It is a political act, but we can talk about it in a bit. But coming back to the skate shop.
Yes, please.
We didn't have a skate shop in New York. The last time Blades carried skates was in 2016, the one in the West 72nd Street. They went out of business then. So it was tough to like get skates and try on things in New York. So I made a connection with FR Skates, Seba Skates a while ago. They did like a little sponsorship for me in 2016 upon the recommendation of Naomi Gregg, another shout out slalom master and one of my biggest influences. And they did a little sponsorship deal with me. They gave me a pair of skates. They promoted some of my stuff. I promoted them. It was very good. And then in 2018, I got to meet the owners of FR/Seba, Gregoire and Sebastien. They're visiting New York from France. We hung out together. It was like, good vibes, good energy. And they'd been in town looking for a place to sell FR skates. And they didn't really run into too much luck at the time. A lot of the shops were like, nah, we're not interested in other brands, or we don't want to do that. But they spoke with me and well, they're like, we want someone in the community also that could just do this, right? So that seeds were planted then. So at the time, I was in the middle of buying a home/property in New York, in Queens, the original neighborhood I grew up in, like Sunnyside, Woodside area. And I was like, there's an opportunity here. I've got some extra space in here that I can't do too much with. So we can, we can make something happen. Now, they asked me about it. I'm like, I'm too busy traveling, going to events. It doesn't make sense now. Pandemic comes in 2020. All of us are bored. All of us need projects. And I'm sitting there thinking, what can you do? And I get an email from Sebastian. He said, what happened to that idea of, selling skates out of your space? And I'm like, you know what? Now's the time. Wow. So they were super supportive. They're like, all right, we'll get you whatever skates you can. It was actually quite hard to get skates at the time. So they hooked me up. I worked with main distribution, SG Sports, where they're based out of Torrance, California, near LA. And it was cool because I'm working directly with the owners of FR Skates on things, and then just one level down. So getting pallets of skates sent to me, for example, getting this stuff. So I had this space, I transformed it. I kept it really minimal. I'm like, people make this whole crazy space. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to set up a thing. I already had the idea of making it appointment only, kind of like a boutique experience. And the pandemic, this actually worked out really well. So I was able to to just set up a system, online system. You book an appointment online. You come in to the shop, and it kind of is a funny experience because like I don't want to just be handing out my address. So like you have to book an appointment. It gets you an address, but it's not the real address. It's like to an alleyway, and you get to the alleyway, and you got to call my number. Of course, it's not my real number; it's another number, right? So, and then I'm like, okay, I'll bring you around. I bring them through this like sketchy-looking back alley, and they're like, what's gonna happen here, right? And I open the shutters, and you think it's like a drug deal, right? But it's like you get something that's even harder to get than drugs in New York. You get skates. Stop. So people get this experience. They get, I work with them for usually an hour. I make sure they get the right skates for what they're looking for. Because like we were all there in the late '90s, early 2000s when skating had the big crash, and too many people were getting hurt. They weren't figuring it out. They weren't finding the right thing. So I wanted to make sure we did the opposite here. So someone comes into my shop to get the right skate they're looking for what they're looking to do. They make sure the skates fit right. Make sure if they need any pads and stuff, they're taken care of. We're gonna get their kids on skate. We can do that too. So we figured out a few things with that, right? And then even afterwards, when they're done, I'm like, oh, do you need lessons? Here's some online videos. Oh, do you want in-person lessons? Here's a certified instructor that's in your neighborhood. Oh, you're looking for a place to skate? What neighborhood are you in? Oh, check out this spot, this spot, this spot. Oh, you want to skate with other people? Here are the community events, and here's the level you need to be at to attend them. So we make sure they're set up right. So what's really cool is just seeing all these people. They're out there skating. I've seen some pairs of skates of mine. Like one pair, I know a couple of pairs, one or two pairs have made it out to Athens to Atlanta, which is like, wow. While the event is gone now, they had their last one last year, but like it's like an epic 87-mile ride across Georgia countryside and hills and urban traffic and all sort of stuff. So like it's really cool to see where my skates have ended up. I see a lot of them on Wednesday night skate. I see them in the rinks. I get messages from people saying, "Oh, look, I took my skates to Berlin Marathon." So
cool.
Yeah, here's one guy. He's on Wednesday night skate, light up wheels, everything, having a good time. So
love it.
Really cool. This was a pandemic project, and then it just kind of kept going. So the shop is still around. It's kind of lower key now. So Kinetic Expression, though, the shop was founded in 2020. But the company is actually founded in 2016. And that was back when I'd quit my corporate job. I was a software engineer at Google, and after enough corporate BS, I wasn't quite appreciated there, and they were disorganized, and they were losing good employees. They were just pushing out good employees. Unfortunately, I fell into that category. So, I decided, I'm like, I don't need this anymore. So I decided to make skating a big part of my life after that. And people get the impression like, oh, this guy made all this money in tech and now he just skates in his time, his free time. That's not it. I want to put this rumor to rest. I did do well financially, and I'm able to obviously own property in New York, but like I still work part-time in software engineering. I work with a nonprofit right now. It's an hourly scenario. It's quite good arrangement. They know skating is a very high priority for me, so they're cool with that. They know I do really good work. They appreciate me, which goes a long way. So I've got this kind of like dual life going on where I'm like, yeah, software, I write software code for money, right? And then I take that money and throw it into skating stuff, including all these trips, the shop, teaching, events, all sorts of that stuff.
Awesome. Very cool.
My friend, you're in the right cocoon with the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two accounts: the expenses and the skating.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. We work our accounting right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have a skating business, it's also cool because you can, those are everything I do related to skating is a pre-tax, pre-income deductible expense. So that's also very, very important, right? So we got to work every system while we can to our advantage.
100%. How do you think the big system, like the big industry, can support you guys more?
I would say I'll just give an example of like how I'm being treated right now. So I have a direct line to the owners of FR Skates. That's the brand I primarily work with. And I'm able to just email them and talk about any scenario, right? I can literally call like my distribution company, like SG Sports. I'll just call them up and have a chat with them for an hour about what's going on with my shop, what I need, if I have issues with like, minimum orders. They'll work with me on something. I'll like express the situation, right? And they'll figure out something that works for me, right? Because everything's kind of individually tailored. Like I'm a small operation. People like email me and be like, hey, you guys or your team, and they don't know. It's like me running this by myself, part-time, in the middle of like all the traveling and all my other work and like my friends and family and all of that stuff. So like they understand the scenario that I have. So I can call them. I can just be like, hey, here's what's going on. Hey, I need this supply. Hey, I'm trouble selling this. Hey, what's a good product for this? Hey, and if some of y'all have seen, I have some videos on YouTube talking about like the FR products. And that's not even on my own channel. That's on In Move Skates channel by Alex Shue, who's an awesome slalom skater. He's based out of, originally from Belarus and based out of Poland right now. So another shout out there. And he's got like 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm like, well, I don't need to build a YouTube following. He'll just put the stuff up. So
right.
yeah. But what's cool about the videos I make, it's like people are like, oh wow, this guy has all the perfect information about these skates, right? And I'm like, yeah, I have perfect information because I will literally message Greg and Sebastian of FR and be like, hey, I'm not understanding the differences between all this, right? Like I'm a nerdy guy, I can figure it out, but like I'm having a hard time. So they'll explain everything to me. I'll take all the notes and then I'll make a very nice video discussing all the stuff about it. So in like layman's terms, right? Because people are like, oh, this thing has MW9 bearings. I'm like, what does that mean, right? I'm like, okay, this is what it actually
right.
And like this, like, does it make a big difference? Does it not? Right? I'll go into the real bit of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got my last set of wheels from you. These ones I got from you too, the last ones.
Yeah.
But those, what was it? The Road Warriors.
Oh yeah, before that was back when I was doing work with MPC and Junk Brand, and they've been and like as an example, like I've worked with this brand as well, and they're a little more difficult to get a hold of, right? And it makes it a challenge for me to sell their products. It makes it harder to promote their stuff. So that's a challenge, like an example, right? Like I think communication is really important. I think expectations are really important. And things weren't always easy with FR. They were having challenges during the pandemic with getting stuff shipped. So getting products, right? Like I'm running a shop. I need whatever help I can. So I think FR has been really helpful for me. They've worked with me. They understand me as a human being. And even like Blading Cup, Greg of FR came all the way from France he was at the warehouse as well. But he was also at Blading Cup. And like, he made sure he made time to hang out with me multiple times, right? Like he's very busy, but he's like, no, you're one of our customers. We're going to make sure you're selling our products. We're going to make sure you have what you need, that you feel supported, that we're able to bounce ideas off each other. So I think big thing with the blading industry, like having that personal touch goes such a long way. Because like blading, skating, we're not that big, right? If you look at the bicycle world, you look at all of that, all this stuff. And I think that's a good thing that we're not that big because it's more intimate. You're able to have these connections. You're able to have even this little podcast, right? I'm able to go to like a skate event and meet like these amazing skaters, right? Like go to like a racing event and meet like Eddie Matsker, legendary ultra distance skater, right? Like he's won so many races and distances and stuff. I'm able to skate with another ultra skater, Caleb Smith. He's been off social media a couple of years, but that dude, oh my God, skated from his front door in Des Moines, Iowa, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, right? Like crazy. And then this guy's also, incredible aggressive skater at what year is it? 2019, right? I joke, it wasn't a competition, but I joke that Caleb won that event because he went on the mini mega, went up the full quarter, and did a 360 to a sole.
Easy.
Oh dang. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah. That dude is like, as soon as he goes to a skate park, he finds the biggest thing he can and skates. Right?
That's sick.
He's got the biggest grin on his face too.
I love that.
Like I got to meet that. I got to meet KSJ, who's like the world's greatest slalom skater. Like that movie on one wheel and doing these spins and stuff. He invented that. Right?
Dang, okay.
He skated me in New York for a week, and we like shared beers and like talked about skating theory and this and that. Like, man, how lucky am I, right? I get to meet all these people.
So blessed.
I like texted Leon Basin of Wizard Skating the other day, saying like, "Hey, I'm going to camp. I'm going to be hanging out with people. We'll be teaching some wizard stuff." He's like, "Oh, that's so great," That's
like the wizard guy.
Yeah, that's the wizard guy. That guy's like, he's a bit of a hermit, so just to even get a hold of him, right?
I love that.
We're very fortunate, right? This world's very special in terms of that, right? And I think it's great that our world is not crazy big for that reason.
Agreed.
Yeah. I agree with that. 100%. 100%. If you could
Absolutely.
dream of a skate shop, what would it be?
A skate shop.
Yeah, like your dream skate shop. If you could do, I
Oh.
mean, maybe it's not kinetic skate. Maybe it's
Well,
something
no, I
else.
think about there's a Roex in Barcelona, which is it's a very small shop. They don't have very much. They got a killer fun social media, which is kind of neat. But the thing that's really cool for Roex is there's this huge plaza in front. So they do lessons there. And then that's also the meetup for the big Barcelona skate, which is one of the biggest ones in the world. I
Wow.
have this correct, right? So the whole thing becomes an ecosystem. The shop becomes a hub and for the community. So that's the thing that always comes down to me is the shop part of the community? Is it interfacing with the community? Is it able to connect? We're not just selling you products, we're selling you a community. We're bringing you into something bigger. We're giving you knowledge. We're enhancing your skills. All of these things I think go together. So to me, a
Yeah,
dream
yeah, that's cool.
shop, a dream shop would also always be stocked, would have things, but that's a different story. So Rolex, I visited them. They're pretty cool down in Barcelona.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. So to me,
I,
it's just like, yeah. Some people say like, I know Trish from Skate Eye says that a skate shop could be a centerpiece of any community. It doesn't have to be, right? And I think like New York's a good example. I think our centerpiece is the Wednesday night skate.
yes, 100%. Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that because even like all the aggressive skaters that I've seen and have conversations with that are coming to New York, we all end up going to Wednesday night skate. It's like
Yeah.
it's a staple.
Yeah. Should
Um,
we should we talk about Wednesday night skate a little bit?
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So those who don't know, Wednesday night skate, they've got. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. When was that? From '07.
Oh seven.
That's my video. I have a
Yep.
video. I didn't
You
even know
do.
this. What was a shot on in '07?
240p.
Wow.
This was probably shot with like a little Canon point and shoot.
On a Nokia flip phone.
I'm like, no, this is not even on a phone. This is on a little, like, I had a separate camera.
That's so funny.
Okay. So Wednesday Night Skate New York is a very long-standing event. It's been around since around 96 or 98. Urban skating through the streets of New York. It's really, really fun stuff out here. So we are a group ride. We are a community ride. This is not sanctioned by any particular. And I would actually just point to maybe the Wednesday night Instagram and stuff. They've got a few things there too. But Wednesday night skate. Oh, the First Avenue Tunnel. Let's talk about the tunnel. This is part of one of our routes, and this tunnel is actually from a route I came up with. So
Cool.
this is what's happened was we were just kind of time it and go through, and then the group got bigger and bigger. And what's really funny now is this tunnel has a bike lane in it with like a Jersey bear in between. So I think enough people started going through it that like the city's just like, yo, we're just making this legit now. So one, that's really cool. Two, I think it's a little less fun now. But now it's like we're in this tiny bike lane instead of taking over the tunnel. I think part of the fun of being a skater is to be a little bit of a rebel, right?
Yeah.
So Wednesday night skate, it's a community ride. We meet every Wednesday at 7:45 p.m. from April to October, and we start about 2 hours. We do about how long? Somewhere between 8 and 14 miles, and it's run by a volunteer staff. So I was a part of the staff, and actually we got some good clips. Oh, there's where some good clips. Go to where can I find this? All right, so there's this really cool piece. There's a skating piece. If you go to skate.nyc/Emmy, EMMY, I think there's a.
Was that this one right here?
Yeah. Well, you go to /Emmy.
/Emmy.
Yeah, skate.nyc. Just type in the whole
Okay.
thing. It's a link to something else. EMMY.
Oh, what the heck?
is all that? No, we don't need that. Okay.
One more time.
So I had someone come down to the skate shop. He was asking me a lot of pointed questions about a news article. /Emmy. Ooh,
You're doing that.
I don't know. It's filling in.
I know why. I know why. Sorry, it's just my keyboard.
All right. So this guy came to the skate shop and asked a lot of pointed questions about this news article that was about my shop. And then at the end of his visit to the shop, He drops his car and turns out he works for a news station. And he's like, I want to do a video piece about your shop. And I'm like, sure, you can do a piece, but it's not going to be just about the shop. It's going to be about our community. So he did this whole piece. He had to have a very catchy start. I did not approve of it. I actually told him, yo, I don't like this. Need video. But if you scroll a little further in, he shows off the Wednesday night skate. So we go a little further in. Yeah. So here's our good clips. Wednesday night skate. Here, volunteer staff, including myself. It's just the event, all that goes on with it. So he did such a good job with this. Cool. There's a bit of it in the shop, interviews, some stuff I did. But it was a piece that was about the shop, about the Wednesday night skate. And he also included a biography about myself. And then the reason I have this URL is this piece actually won an Emmy Award.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's actually, you know what? Do you want to see the award?
Yeah. Show the people.
Yeah, let's show the people.
Yo, not that many bladers can say that, though.
No. Right? How many bladers have an Emmy?
There it is. It's actually pretty heavy.
Wow. I only know 2 now.
There we go. Yeah.
Wow. What the heck? That's crazy.
Yeah, this is kind of nuts to have this in my house.
That is, dude. Wow.
I'm just a dude who likes to be on wheels, but
I'm going to start telling people that I know an Emmy winner.
Yeah, Emmy winner, right? But to be honest, I'm more proud of some of the other stuff I have on this wall here.
Love that.
You know, some more skating related.
Yeah. That's cool though.
So the Wednesday night skate, very good community ride. So it used to be when I started around 2007. I was like a kid in college, and I thought this group was cool. And then they had a volunteer staff. So I joined the volunteer staff in 2009 for that season. And from then on, you know, I would lead routes, I would mark turns, I would help out, I would come up with things, make sure people were able to stay as safe as possible within our abilities, and that we weren't causing too many shenanigans in the cities. Because like this event, you know, it's a renegade event, right? So like we don't have, you know, we just kind of do it, right? And the city obviously knows about us. The police know about us. We've been doing this for a long time. And, you know, at the time we had like 50, 70 people. The numbers like were dropping for a bit because all the older people were disappearing, but all the younger people were coming in. So around 15, 16, 17, 18, numbers started going up. They didn't look like it because like it's like the older people are dropping out, and then the younger people are coming up, and it's kind of evening out. But I noticed the trend, and then the numbers are going up, and then pandemic time comes, and it just kind of accelerates the trend we already had. So we went, we put the work in also to make this group good, right? So we went from 50, 60, 70 people, and then we're getting over 100 every week. And then we're getting over 200 a week. And now we're getting like 300 every week showing up to this event. And this event, I feel like it's the crown jewel of the skating community here in New York, right?
Yeah.
Like
best way to see the city. Best way to see
a good way to see the city, to chill out. And, we had a lot of things work in our favor. Like, New York City has a terrific bike lane infrastructure, which has kind of been commandeered by a lot of delivery cyclists. The tech companies are just taking advantage of all of that, of our public infrastructure, sadly. But we have the streets too, and we have the law on our side too. We are legally permitted to skate anywhere cyclists are allowed in New York City.
Sweet.
So, and then I think the biggest advantage of New York is no one really no one cares what you do as long as you're not too obtrusive, right?
Yeah.
So the staff does a really good job managing the crowd and all of that. So I remained on staff from 2009, and 2022 was my last season on staff. It was a lot of work. So if you ever go to Wednesday Night Skate, thank the staff. They're volunteers. It is stressful on there. Anytime something goes wrong, there's a blockage, someone's falling down, someone's doing something unsafe, someone's getting in front of the lead. Don't do that. People show up who clearly don't have the skills for Wednesday. We have to drop them, Staff does a really good job managing all of this for everyone's safety and enjoyment. And then actually one of the things I brought on the staff to help the group feel better, I was like, we need a policy for harassment. We need a policy and make it clear that this is a community where 99% of people are doing the right thing, but we need to make sure that 1% doesn't mess things up. Because it's happened in the past. We've seen these things happen. So we've kicked out people from the skate. We've kicked them out because they haven't done things right, because they weren't good citizens. And as a result, we're very clear about this. Every skate they announce like, hey, this is a friendly group. We make sure you take care of each other. Um,
Right.
so
Sweet.
we think that's really helped with the retention of people come to Wednesday. They have a good time. The routes are good. The vibes are good. People feel respected. People feel community. So it goes a long way
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like, I can't wait for you to come to New York, Josiah, to see it happen.
I
We
know.
gotta
Really,
come out.
I
Yeah.
know. I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger one of these summer months to just do it. To come out on a
Yeah.
Wednesday, like a
the
Tuesday to
best
Thursday
training
type
for
thing.
Operation
But
Ohio.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
And
I've only skated to Detroit and Chicago, but both of them alone. But on Sunday mornings, and so the city was kind of quiet, and that's one of my favorite things is just being able to experience the city on blades. So. Oh man, I can only imagine how fun that must be. So yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah, I think you'll love it, and it's
Oh yeah.
such, it's like I said, it's like good training for Operation Ohio. So the people that are in New York have this benefit to have this way of slowly train themselves into distance skating.
Mm.
I've seen aggressive skaters being transformed into skaters.
yeah, yeah.
skaters. You're not a real skater. That's an aggressive
I mean,
skater.
aggressive skaters. We used to have. I mean, in my perspective, I grew up aggressive skating, and it was like I learned to use the skates as a transportation method, and then once I saw them as aggressive, it was like all it mattered was like tap tap, get to the grind,
Yeah.
grind, land it, good.
Yeah. I
There was no
sometimes
actual
joke.
skating,
Yeah, I sometimes joke that like some back at least or back in the day, it's less the case these days. Like a lot of aggressive skaters, they weren't really skating. They would like waddle to a feature and do this incredible grind, like they'd go down the rail and stuff, right? And like
Yeah.
switch everything, and then they'd come off and land on the ground, and then they'd like waddle their way out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
grinder
There used to
blading.
be skaters like that for sure.
Yeah, grinder blading. Yeah.
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 But they will get to the grind and be like,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
perfect. Yeah. That's what they do. yeah, man. That's what.
Yeah. But that's kind of the
Absolutely.
magic of skating, right? There's so many aspects to master. Like, I think about a lot of other sports, not to like put them down or anything, but like, cycling, like there are cool things you can do on a bike, but for the most part, it's a very linear like aspect. Like skating, there's just like I keep finding more things, right?
It's
Like the
not
camera-
linear at all.
It's-
There's nothing about skating that's linear in my experience because I will learn something that I can do at the same time that my friend is learning something that I can't
Right.
do, and we both are at the same level. But we can't
Yeah.
learn each other's
Oh,
tricks because we're
sure.
just different paths at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
it's
comes down to
fun.
per person. It really does.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun because like I often hang out with skaters who are better than me at like a particular discipline, right?
Mm.
Because like
Me
they're
too.
like, oh, Sonic's the skater that does it all, but I'm like, yeah, and he's like really good at all of them. I'm like, yeah, but except I go speed skating and like I train with this guy who's a world champion. He just demolishes me, right? And then I'm like, okay, let me go to the skate park, right? And then I'm skating with like these bladers who've been doing skate park for like 20, 30 years, and it's like switch up. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm like, okay, let me go do some slalom skating. Like I'm hanging out with like Naomi Green. I'm just like this beautiful slalom, right? Like nothing. And then I'm like, okay, let me go, let me go ultra skating. Caleb's like, yo, let's go do a century. I'm like, oh my god. Like, and then like, what else?
and once we get there, we do it back.
Yeah, well, yeah, then we do it back, right? And which discipline? Oh, like dance skating, right? I'm like, oh, I'll go to dance skating. People are like, I'm like, oh my god, and they got the arms and everything. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm not dead, right? So there's always something.
That's
Yeah,
why I
man.
think it's like this certification of Skate IA really broke my mold of an aggressive skater,
Hmm.
and that opened me up to Cam influencing me into Big Will.
Yeah,
Right.
oh, that's so cool. All right,
Yeah,
should we talk about that?
I mean, with the way it made me realize that I had to unlearn everything that I thought I knew
Yeah.
about skating, and then completely learn it from scratch. And then once I learned it from scratch again, and I put the knowledge I had before, I'm like, oh, skating is so different for me now. Like
Yeah.
I think it's so nurturing, honestly. And if any aggressive skater gets certified, they will agree with me, I believe.
Yeah, so let's talk about the certification of it. So Meta actually, I work with an organization called Skate Instructors Association. So this is an organization that trains and certifies people to be skating instructors. So I want to be clear, there's skating skills, and then there's teaching skills, and there's actually very little overlap in that, right? A lot of the really great skaters, their body understands what they're doing, their mind doesn't, right? And then even
Great
if
way
their
to put
mind
it.
does, they don't know how to break it down, right? They can do it, but all the scaffolding to get there is long gone. So Skate IA's program, we have several programs. And actually, if we go to the website, there's actually a lot of good stuff over there. skateia.org. Let's see. Yep, that one right there. Skate IA, we have multiple programs. So say our level 1 program, Meta took this program with me. So I'm one of the examiners with Skate IA. So I run this program. It's a 2.5-day program. And Meta took this program with me where we teach you how to run a class from start to finish. So we talk about all the aspects of keeping students safe, how to break down any move. And the idea is that we can give you the most uncoordinated, skittish, scared, no knowledge, out of shape person, put them on skates, and then you'll be able to give them progress. You'll be able to get them to be a skater, right? Because if someone's already got like experience with other sports, okay, that's simple. But like to take anyone and do it, so that's our level 1 program. We also have a level 2 program, which is like, how do you teach a class that has like 30 students? How do you teach a class that has like people with all these different levels of ability in it? How do you teach a class where like you got someone who doesn't even speak their language, right? So that's our level 2 program. Then we also have a specific skate park program, and I'm in charge of this program, which is how to teach in a skate park. Because honestly, we bladers, the way we learned, man, we learned what, when we were like 16, 15, right? 13. And the way we learned was just like, all right, you just do it. You just throw yourself at it and you kind of figure it out from there. And I'll tell you what, do any of us want to do that now?
No.
No. And that's Trish Alexander in front there. She's the head of Skate Instructors Association. She's been skating for over 50 years. She's been teaching and training instructors for over 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
badass.
her classes are phenomenal. You could try to throw every curveball in her class. You could be a brat. You could, mess things up, and she will not break a
Love it.
sweat.
Love
She'll just
that.
like put you there. So Trish ran a certification back in, I believe it was 2016. And some of her candidates included, who did we have on that one? We had Bashi Pope. He's a certified instructor.
Cool.
We had, who's the king of kink? What's it called? Kink rails. Not anything else. Chris Farmer was in that same certification.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so these are some of the people who have like taken the program. And then we have if any of y'all know in New York, there's a program called Go Sports. They teach skating in really like underserved areas in the South Bronx, one of the biggest public schools in New York. And these are schools where people have like, a lot of the students don't have resources, they might have developmental issues. So Go Sports was founded by Ray Mendez, another shout out, and John Keys. So all their instructors are certified through us as well. And like they just are able to run a whole skate school or whole skate program. Another program, this is out in Canada, Alien Inline. They do about 100,000 student classes a year. Teaching in schools, 5 classes a day, 5 days a week across for each of their instructors. And they got like a dozen instructors. So
what was it again? Alien?
Yeah, Alien Inline.
Alien Inline.
Like you might recognize some of the folks from Alien Inline, include like one of their instructors is Sean Unwin. That's a name, we were very popular with. So fun fact, I was just hanging out with Sean Unwin at Camp Skate IA in San Diego the past few days. He's been doing well. His family's great. But he's still teaching, 5 classes a day, whoever knows how many days a year. So is that Sean over there? Wait, scroll up one. Right there in the middle.
I think Skate IA is like,
there you go.
Like so underrated on how much of a net of support they create for the community. They provide people with tools to be able to be entrepreneurs, to be able to understand how to make themselves sustainable through skating.
Yeah. So as an example, thank you, Meta. So Skate IA, you become a certified instructor, which one gives you like a certificate, so you get more legitimacy. It also gives you liability insurance because if something happens, if there's an injury, if there's damage to a facility, any of that stuff, you're covered, you're backed up. So there's there's that, but there's also additional benefits. Like we provide courses like for people who remain members with Skate IA. There's like a small membership fee every year to just renew and to continue having insurance and to support what's going on here. You get like all these classes on like how to start a skate business. If you come to our Camp Skate IA, we have a special day for just instructors where like instructors share their teaching secrets. And then we have an industry day where like people who are running various skate schools will talk about their experience. So a few examples. Our industry day was just what was it, 5 days ago, and we had there's a person I certified in Colorado, and she started a whole skate school, skate community program out there. So they're like running events and stuff, and they got like 5 instructors now, 4 or 5 instructors all doing stuff out there.
Nice.
Adrian of Skate Date, SK8, SD8. So, and then we had another guy, Sean Rodriguez. I actually just I saw him last week. We just got on the phone call. So that's Skate Date out in Boulder, Colorado. And then Sean Rodriguez took my skate park certification last year at it was offered during camp.
Another shout out.
Yeah, another shout out, Sean Rodriguez. And
Inline Mind.
It just happened to be in his neighborhood. He wasn't like planning to do much with it, but he's like, oh, it's just here. Let me just do it. And it transformed his life. And he just started an entire skate business out of this. So he's just running classes, like 2-3 classes a day, 5 days a week, teaching in the skate park. And he's like got a whole business around it now. And he's working with the city. He's working with parks agencies and stuff like that. So he's got access to facilities. So he's bringing skating to a lot of people. His youngest student is 5 years old, and his oldest, I believe, is 55 or something like that.
Boom.
In the skate park, right?
That's so significant, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So really, really cool stuff, helping people do stuff. I know, Meta, you've got a story too, right? With the event in Mexico.
Oh yeah, man. Like because of the certification, we were able to create like a whole way to break it down to be able to give kids a way for them to keep themselves accountable, how to track their progress. And then now every year that we go, we see these kids just, so now we have a relationship for years, seeing kids not only grow, but become better skaters, teaching us stuff now, letting them take over classes now. Just so encourage the people being promoting skating, which is what we do in the next tour, but it's which is why I'm saying, like, I think KIA really produces so much of a supportive network, from people to make themselves a business, from people to be able to help the community, from people to understand just themselves in skating, just by learning edges. I was like, oh, that explains a lot of my pressure points,
right.
Like just that. I think I'm curious if we can do the Fast 5 now. I think it is a good time to do the Fast 5 now. All right. I don't know if you've seen any of these ones before, but we try to do this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Most likely it doesn't work, and that's okay.
Right.
But we try to.
I'm not sure what we're getting into, but I like little surprises. Let's do
5 questions. Try to not think about it. Just shoot the first thing that comes to your mind.
There we go.
All right. Park, street, wizard, or urban? Choose one.
Urban.
Wow. Favorite pair of skates of all time?
That's my roots. Oh, okay. What's the next question?
Favorite pair of skates of all time?
Okay. I have two of these. They're on the wall behind me.
Oh.
You can see there's a pair of Bauer roller hockey skates. And I lived on these things when I was living in Manhattan. Like I was just on them all the time. I learned slalom on those. I got into speed skating on those. I've done the skate marathon on those. And that was my one. The other one, it's over there. That's let me see. There we go. That's a prototype I developed. It's made from an exact cast of my foot, like a speed skate, but it's got a cuff on there. I call it the Chimera skate.
All right. Yes.
So yeah, one is like the skate that really that built me, and the other is the skate that I built.
Love that. That's amazing.
I love it. It's like you were meant for this question.
All right. What else you got?
Favorite trick of all time?
Oh my God, I don't know. Man, you know what? I really like the power slide, but like. Doing a power slide at super high speed and stopping on a dime. So I do this on Wednesday night skate where everyone's like coming to a stop and then I start to speed up right? And it looks like I'm going to crash into, and I'll just throw it around, slide it, and stop like an inch from like a person in front of me. Do not do this on Wednesday Night Skate, okay? Do not take any of that. Yeah. I'm a former staff member. I got certain privileges.
I've been
Do as he says, not as he does.
Yeah, do as I say. Yeah.
You just like scaring people. You scare me when you do that.
I said I was a menace, right?
You are a menace. I tell you. Favorite skating video of all time.
The Wizard of Wall Street.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that one. Seeing that the music.
This guy's face tells me that he hasn't watched it.
I haven't.
You haven't watched Wizard of Wall Street? I watched that thing like 50 times. It's just, it was like, obviously, it was the first time wizard skating was really shown off.
Yeah.
But then, you had this incredible skater, Leon. Then you had a brand new discipline that no one had seen before. But then Leon has all this kooky stuff. Like, he has a parkour background, so he's doing parkour on skates, right?
Right, yeah. He's
wizard
so good.
skating is parkour, but he's done that on aggressive inlines. There's videos of this around, right? And he's also has martial arts background, so his movement does all of that.
That makes sense.
But, like, then you have Mike Torres, like, beautiful filmmaker, right? The way he puts it together. And like Mike and I actually did a project. We never finished it. Like we have a scene in a barbershop. We're going to get Mike. Yo, Mike, finish this project, okay? This is a shout out to Mike Torres. That you're amazing.
Very busy all the time, though.
Amazing. I know. This guy's busy, right? He stopped my project because he got a project with Alex Brosco. I'm like, well, I'm not competing with that. But like, I got to, what the point of the story is, I got to see his process, right? And I'm like, we butted heads a bit because I was being stubborn, but then I realized, I'm like, man, he was right about everything, just the way he shot things, like the choice, like what kind of music we should put to it, all of this stuff. So Mike Torres does beautiful filming, right?
Amazing.
Yeah. And he like really shows it off in a way. Like he's like, oh, I gotta dirty the scene a bit. And he'll like get some like leaves and stuff just kind of there. Like and he's like, oh, I gotta get some B-roll. And like see him doing all this. I'm like, wow. So Wizard of Wall Street, I love showing it to people because people think skating is like this thing, and like Wizard of Wall Street is just so much different than all of that. So
right.
Yeah, that'll do it for me.
Good stuff.
Right. One more question.
That was a good closer of the 5. No, that was it.
That was 5? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. All right, I guess it's a good time to ask for questions again. I didn't see any roll in, but if you guys got any questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll get to that in a minute. But Sonic, why don't you let the people know how they can support you?
How they can support me? Oh
yeah.
My God. Well, back in the day, I'd be like, "Oh, follow me on social media," but like, let's have some real talk.
Yes.
I've worked in tech and stuff, and I've seen these companies are just using our content that we provide them for free, basically, so they can make ads and stuff and get all this stuff off of us. And they're making us, they're just like, like, oh, fetch, do this. So I feel like they're getting us addicted to stuff. They're really yanking our chain on all sorts of stuff. They're forcing us to produce certain type of content now, which I don't believe is wholesome and stuff, right? Like I've chatted with a lot of people. They're like, man, every time I make like a good educational video on skating, it gets no hits. If I make something of me doing something dumb and falling down and stuff, it gets all the hits. And I'm like, yeah, something needs to change here.
Yep.
So I've stopped producing content. I'm collecting content. I'm recording stuff, right? But I stopped this year. Like participating on social media in the sense that like I don't look at other people's stuff. I don't look, I don't put out stuff, and my life's gotten significantly better. So the way I would say is like, we talk a lot about mental health here. And I think this is like a really big thing we need to think about. Unfortunately now, like, if I need to know if Wednesday Night Skate is on, like if it's rain or not, I have to check, right? I like pull it, it's not on my phone. I pull up my laptop. I'll be like www.instagram.com/Wednesday Night Skate NYC, right? To like look it up. Or like some of the community groups, like it's just like, oh, what's this event? I gotta like type it in there, right? So I don't know, something needs to change with all of that. So I think a collective support would be like, hey, can we get off this world of like where like we're engaging on this thing, right? And as a software engineer, I've been dabbling like, what if I just made a media platform that didn't have all this addictive stuff, right? Like instead of maybe you have to pay a little money for it, but like, is that maybe better than paying with our time, paying with our mental health, paying with addiction to this stuff, paying with feeling like, oh, I'm not, I can't, I'm doing all this amazing stuff for my community. I'm not visible, like all the toll that comes with that. So I think maybe that would go a long way. In terms of other things, I think, figure out ways to step up, I think people just need to step up and do things in terms of your community. Don't just benefit. If you see a way you can help out, right? If there's a local community event, thank the people running it. You can ask them, hey, is there anything I could do for you, right? If you see other people, you want to expand skating for them, you could become, you could start teaching, become certified. We'll get you the resources for that. Positive experiences all the way, right? Like just, a lot of us who started in aggressive, I did not so much, but I was a little bit, seeing the scene. Unfortunately, it was rough times. In the 90s, it was rough. We were fighting the skateboarders. We were, also antsy kids or whatever, right? But things are different now. The vibe is different. So can we just keep things positive, not dwell on the past? I want to see people moving their feet. I don't want to see them moving their mouth or their finger on the computer. We've seen all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Let's rise up. Let's find those people in the community who are really doing it. Bring them up, right? So like
Absolutely.
Meta's done the right thing. He's like, yo, let's get Sonic to talk. I'm like, oh, this means so much for me. Like, to have a space to speak about things. I think
Absolutely.
we're in a golden age of skating now, and I'm not convinced we'll have it forever, right? Things come and go. So I'm appreciating and enjoying it for what we have now. And someone was telling me, who was telling me this? Was it Sean Unwin? He was telling me skating is good in bad times because skating is a surviving art. We've gone through all sorts of bad times, right? And we've survived. We've kept around, right? Imagine if skateboarding had the same crash that Inline and aggressive and had back in the 2000s. They wouldn't have managed. They'd be gone. We're still around. We're in the underground. We're here because we love to skate. We're here because we enjoy the art. We love our community. We love our friends, right?
Yeah. I'm compiling a book about the values of blading, dude.
Oh my God! I'm excited for this. Yes. We need more skating books.
I mean, we need more skating everything, right? But the thing is, like, we do this thing where we want things to happen in our community, but when somebody doesn't have a name and they're trying to do the work because somebody that has a name is doing it, we support somebody that has a name already.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you're in Queens. You do any event, we should all be there supporting you. You do an event, like. This is how we stay because we're small, Yeah, we're everywhere though.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
We really are, man. I actually just had a blader move to town. I just got to skate with him yesterday, so now we got 3 bladers in my town. So we've tripled in 2 years.
All right.
Now you're a triangle.
Now we're a triangle. Now we're a triangle of power. Unstoppable. Good stuff. We did have one question roll in. Are you gonna be at the North Shore Marathon?
I have retired from distance and ultra distance skating, so I will not be there this year. I have participated in many years. They've been very generous with me. They've put me up for free entry and accommodations in the past because I taught slalom workshops for them.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So that's been like really cool. They had to stop doing it because I started like compete. Like you're not allowed to like get a free entry and also be winning stuff. So like when I started getting better, they had to be like, yo, we need to change the agreement. I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that. But I will not be there this year. In order for me to, skating's beautiful in that there's so many ways to do it, but like I'm a human being with so many things in my life. And even so I'm focusing this year, over the last couple of years, it's been more skate park focused. This year might be more wizard and dance skating.
Nice.
So that means other things have to take a back seat, and
So we won't see you in Operation Ohio.
I don't know yet. We'll see. That's a distance event, so
it's more of it's like if you go to Wednesday night skate, it's the same thing.
I know, but it's tough. I gotta pick and choose, right? So people
actually think Wednesday night skate is harder.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's not about the difficulty, right? It's just like, ooh, how many things can I like put my time towards? So I just got off a flight last night, right? Coming from camp. I was there for a bunch of days. And then people are like, yo, you going to Peach Roll? I'm like, yo, that's in another week. Shout out Peach Roll. That's a new event in Atlanta, Georgia. They have like 4 different groups out there who do things and they're all collaborating together.
Atlanta is amazing with that.
Great place
amazing.
to skate,
Half
great
Tons of
community.
Concrete coming up. Half Tons of Concrete. And
yeah. And Capcom, Capcom is actually
you can see it, man.
Weekend. So actually, shout out if anyone still has a place they want to go. I'm like deciding, they're like inviting me to come out there, and I'm like, ooh, it's tough. Like I'm like, do I want to? I just got off a plane. Do I want to get on another plane? Like sometimes you just want to like you need to relax. You're taking care of our physical health and our mental health with this, right?
Oh, I hear you, 100%.
And to be honest, I have burned out before. I've done too much. I've like not asked for help. And I've had to learn a lot of lessons the hard way. So, I'm being very mindful of that. So, am I coming to this event or that event? Maybe I'll just say it's a surprise.
That's good. That's good.
You will find me at Wednesday Night Skate. Ever since I retired off the staff, I just show up and I just have a blast. I just dance the whole night away. People always got boombox and stuff. I find some of the music I like. Just dance it up, and like I'm still learning new stuff on Wednesday Night Skate. I'm like, oh, this wizard thing I learned. Can I do it on the street? Oh, can I blend it with a slalom move? Oh, can I like throw like a little dance thing in there, right? So it's really fun for me now. Especially I just go out. Sometimes I'll just come out and I'll just chat with people. I'll see John Ortiz over there. I'll just chat with him. I'll chat with other friends I've known for like 15, 16, 17 years. So it's really cool. I'll just go out, chat with Meta. I'll chat with a whole bunch of different people there. It's really, really fun event. You can make it your own. You can skate hard or you can chill. So I will be at Wednesdays for sure.
Awesome. The best thing. It's the best thing. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with if you could choose anything to?
Do it for joy. Do it for joy. Find the joy in it. Lead with that. That's what skating's about. And community, there's nothing like our skate community. I've been in a lot of various communities. They're very cool, but the skate community's got something kind of special going on. So respect that and help bolster that up.
Absolutely.
Boom, boom, boom.
Amazing way to sign out. Thank you very much for being here, Sonic. We appreciate it.
Really appreciate.
I know. Honestly, I feel like we could talk about a ton more, so we'll have to see if we can get you back on. I honestly think if you really are seriously pursuing a platform, you'll have our support. But when that comes together, we'd love to have you back on talk that specifically.
Want to have it together. It takes a lot to write software code.
It's a lot. Yep.
Already doing a job, and it's just like, oh, do I want to sit on the computer or do I want to like? The weather was nice today. I didn't even like. I was like, oh, I should sit down and do some work, right? And then I saw it was like 7 degrees. So like literally right before this, I'll put my wizard skates on and like do a little session on my own. You know?
I understand. I would rather you do that too.
Yeah. So
I mean, at the end of the day, if you do that and you go back to work, you'll be more productive. You're happier
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Let's nurture instead of force ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We can do both, but do it. That's the important thing. Like you said, I want to see people doing, not only being in front of the screen.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, all right, everybody. We appreciate you for being here again. Thank you to Arnav, Sonic Skates, Shah for being here today. We've had a really good conversation, and it's really cool to see your side, your perspective of some things, especially somebody who's from a small town. It's cool to see somebody making it happen in New York. So I love that, man. I'm glad that you've got some things in the works. I know that we're on the same page for sure about like screen addiction, media addiction, and we talk about a lot about on this channel. So you've got our full support with endeavors that way. But again, man, great conversation.
Yeah, indeed.
All right.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
I admire you for everything you do. Thank you for doing
thank you,
this.
Matt, for bringing me
always
here,
thank you.
hounding me when I forgot to reply to your messages, all of that stuff.
Love that. All right, everybody. Well, we will catch you in the next Religion stream again. If you are looking to support Sonic, you can do so by just being there, be present, thank the people that are doing the things, be the person that is doing the things, get out there and skate, and do it joyfully and show others the joy of skating. As long as you do that, you're doing the right thing. So thank you for being here, everybody. We hope to catch you in the next one. Later, bladers.
Later.